things that most families do not own. But if you heat your home with propane, or if you spend a lot of money on propane for barbecue grills, in my case, I heat my garage with propane tanks. This is a gas leak indicator pen, and it's from General Tools. General Tools is an American company, been around for 100 years. This is the first time we've offered it at a clearance sale price. It's $24.65. We have smoke detectors in our home. Most people who heat with propane do not have gas detection. 20% off of what we had this at earlier in our season. It's not something that most people would consider a must-have, but I've got to tell you, propane by itself has no odor. In fact, they add an additive into it to give it an odor so that it's a little easier to spot. But that doesn't mean that our noses are anywhere near as sensitive. Sean Pickford, who you saw just a few minutes ago, he's the gentleman that brings this in. We're going to go to him. He's in his home shop. Sean, I admit I had not thought about the necessity of this, but the fact of the matter is, whenever you're dealing with a combustible gas, you need to be able to detect whether there's a leak or not.
Yeah, and I mean, these things do a fantastic job. So much so that I had to have a new heater put in my house just before the holidays. We put the heater in, and 2 days after it was installed, I walked downstairs, and it's behind the door here.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into the room, and I'm like, man, I smell gas. I'm like, and I have a really sensitive nose. And I'm like, you know what? I have my gas leak detector. Let me go see. So I walked into the room and started walking around. I was able to pinpoint where the leak was when they installed the heater. The two metal pipes they put together, they didn't put enough pipe dope on there.
Okay.
So it was leaking out there, but it was just faint enough where I could smell it with my nose. Now, the guy who came to repair it could not smell it and told me I was nuts. And I said, well, watch, I'm going to show you. So I got out the leak detector pen. And as soon as I pulled this out, he started to laugh. I'm like, what are you laughing for? He goes, you want to see mine? His was the exact same one from General Tools. So even the professionals use this. So I showed him where the leak was. He's like, you're right. It's definitely leaking there. So they repaired it. But it was peace of mind to me because sometimes you're like, do I smell gas? Don't I? And you second guess yourself.
Right.
I didn't have to guess now. I knew. So I turned mine on here and you're hearing it beeping. So what it's doing, it's taking a sampling of the air in the room I'm in right now. It will do that every 7 seconds so that you know it's working. So how well does it work? Well, I have a propane tank right here and I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to hit the button a little, but I'm not going to light it. So that fast, there it is. You can see, all right, you can hear the beeping.
Yep.
You can see the lights flashing. So it told me, all right, it smelled the gas that was coming out of this little propane tank here. Now, this could be your stove. This could be your fireplace. This could be your barbecue grill. So all those things here, yeah, the range, the grill, the heater, the propane tanks, the fireplaces, even for things that you store bigger tanks and stuff, the professionals, they use this because you can't just rely on your nose.
At all. In fact, I hate to say it, we can't trust that.
Right.
You could indeed have a gas leak and be completely unaware of it.
Yeah.
The symptoms of inhaling too much propane are very, very similar to the symptoms of a head cold or the start of a flu.
Right.
You get very congested, tends to create a headache, and I just want to keep people safe.
This will do it.
Yeah, it's basically like a little insurance policy. But I've got to admit, the technology that they built into it is pretty cool. It's like an electronic nose.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where now you don't leave this on. I put this basically. I have two of these, so I have one out in the garage and I have one in the kitchen drawer because we have a gas stove in the kitchen, and I'm always smelling gas. And my wife's like, no, that's just the oven lighting and stuff like that. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, that's how it works. So, but it freaks me out a little bit because it's gas and I know it's combustible. So we have one in the kitchen. You turn it on when you think you smell something or you think something's not right, or you just want to check it. So how many times when you change the propane tank up on your gas grill, do you actually put the soap and water on there
Never.
to make sure it's sealed properly?
And that's what they tell you to do every time.
Right.
I know.
Right. This is a way to check it without doing that, knowing that, all right, nowadays they've made better seals on the things. So I still put this on there. I still want to be sure. So, and this gives me peace of mind.
Our range in our house is electric, but in the motor coach, everything, including the refrigerator, is propane.
Right.
And that's not a bad place to have one of these as well. Neat little piece of equipment. Now it's a clearance sale price, so you're going to save yourself some money. Listen, it's not the most glamorous thing in the world, but it's something I think we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean's coming back in just a few seconds. These are the